It's expensive for Southeast Asia, to be honest. And what he does is pretty cool, actually. So just a tip for you all, if you're coming here as a tourist. Almost 3 hours in this little scooter, not that easy. Yeah, that's tight. I can't go through. Apparently it's kind of a Viagra, you know? Thank you so much. Eu finalmente encontrei dois jovens aqui que falam português. Political prisons here. Because they were interviewing me, so I can interview them as well. I'm a little bit lost here, getting to the waterfall. And people, they are helping me here. Very friendly, very nice. Sorry, I'm officially giving up. As they say, going up is the easiest part. Going down is gonna be sketchy. And they asked me not to film the embassy because it looked like a fortress full of cameras. Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Out of Your Comfort Zone. My name is Rodrigo, and can you recognize these flags over there? That one, sorry it's not blowing, but this one here. Can you recognize that flag? If not, I can tell you. We are in Timor-Leste, or East Timor, the second youngest country in the world after South Sudan. It just got independence in 2002. I'm gonna show you the map. Timor-Leste, East Timor, is in the Southeast Asia, very south of Southeast Asia, almost border Oceania, and it shares an island with Indonesia. The Timor Island, half is Indonesia, and Indonesia have a bunch of other islands, and half is East Timor, Timor-Leste. And as a Brazilian, it's very interesting as well because Timor-Leste is one of the few, about like 7 countries that also speaks Portuguese, has Portuguese as one of your official languages. Although I've been looking around here and chatting with people, not many people speak Portuguese, they speak more English. And I'm gonna tell you why soon. The idea of this video is to show a little bit about East Timor, Timor-Leste, why it's important, you know, a little dash of geopolitics as well. As a young country, has a little bit of recent conflict here with Indonesia, but also economic resources conflict with Australia. I'm gonna tell everything about it and a few tourist attractions here around Dili, the capital, and the surrounding areas. Let's get to it. But first, if you haven't done yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. It's still a small channel, so every like and every subscribe really helps the channel. Welcome to Timor-Leste. So I'm here now eating some rice noodles, chicken and egg. Decent meal here in Timor-Leste, $4 US dollars. So everything here is dollars, and I'm gonna talk about that soon. It's expensive for Southeast Asia, to be honest. You can pay $2 for something of that, like on the streets in Thailand, Vietnam, everything. For Timor-Leste, Timor-Leste is a little bit more expensive than the rest of Southeast Asia. As I mentioned, they use the US dollar, right? But the coins, they use their own cents, dollar cents. If you can see here, they don't have the American dollars. They have 200 cents, which is obviously equal to $2, 100 cents, which would be $1, 50 cents that we don't have in the United States. Obviously, these two don't have in the United States either. And the quarter, 25 cents. Since I can't stand still, while I'm eating, I'm going to also talk about the recent history of East Timor. Portugal was the colonizer here until 1975. And you know Portugal has been everywhere, right? Obviously Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, São Tomé and Príncipe. If you like videos about countries that speak Portuguese, I've been to Angola and São Tomé and Príncipe, and I have videos about it. So you should check it out. But also Macau in China, Goa in India. I saw Portuguese forts in Bahrain. But coming back to here, East Timor became independent in 1975. Yeah, they got independence from Portugal. Straight up, Indonesia invaded. If you become independent and you can guarantee your own independence by strength, another country can come and just take it over. This whole international law, United Nations protecting you and everything, unfortunately almost doesn't work. Indonesia occupied the country in 2002 officially, but around 1999 some revolution started to breed, like getting stronger and stronger, armored revolution, and with the support and pressure from the United Nations and Australia. Not that Australia is being benevolent or anything, Australia had also some economic interests. I'm going to talk soon about that. Indonesia granted independence to East Timor after a lot of bloodshed. It's interesting because they learned Portuguese until 1975. From 1975 to 2002, during the Indonesian occupation, there was no Portuguese here. Nobody taught Portuguese. And after 2002, the children started learning Portuguese. So it's very interesting, this gap in generation that people don't speak Portuguese. It's an official language, but by talking to people here, I noticed they speak much better English than Portuguese. I'm gonna show a little bit of me speaking with a few people in Portuguese. I put the subtitles below. Qual o seu nome de novo? Rocky. Tudo bem, Rocky?
Obrigado.
Ele tá me entendendo bem no português e eu entendo bem o seu português.
Não muito, mas
Sim.
é assim.
Você aprende na escola português?
Sim. Na Timor-Leste tem um programa português oficial língua para Timorese. Por isso, obrigatoriamente, todo docente e também estudantes precisam para aprender língua portuguesa.
Eu entendo perfeito o seu português.
Obrigado.
E o sotaque é muito claro para mim. Muito bom. O sotaque dele, perfeito. E qual o seu nome?
Meu nome é Adelina.
Adrina?
Sim,
Ah,
Adelina.
Adelina.
Sim, ela é a minha filha,
Qual o nome dela?
a Chaguita.
Chaguita.
Ela chama-se Chaguita.
Oi, Chaguita, tudo bem?
Sim, muito bem.
Ela é muito tímida.
Obrigada.
E você aprendeu português na escola?
Sim, na escola aprendi português em escola pré-secundária.
Pré-secundária.
Sim.
Em Dili, você é de
Em
Dili?
Dili, sim.
Eu sou do Brasil, originalmente. E eu queria visitar o Timor-Leste, conhecer. Tem muita gente que fala português.
E tem muito criança.
Criança.
Sim, crianças que falam português, mais.
As pessoas um pouco mais velhas.
Mais velhos.
Ah, sim. Ah, perfeito.
Sim.
O seu sotaque é muito bom para mim. Eu entendo bem o seu português. Em Portugal, se as pessoas falam muito rápido, com muita gíria, é difícil para eu entender.
Estudei a escola primária com Indonésia, mas depois de
ainda
separar,
em 2002.
sim,
Uhum.
eu estudei português.
Ah.
Estudei português.
Muito bom, muito
Sim.
bom. Então, ela estudava quando o Timor-Leste era ocupado pela Indonésia. Ela não aprendia português porque era da Indonésia. E aí, quando se tornou independente, em 2002, eles começaram a ensinar na escola no Timor-Leste. Você já assistiu algum filme ou novela brasileira? Não. Eles não passam no Timor-Leste?
Não.
Ah, que pena. Qual o nome do senhor? Adão Batista Gomes. Mas eu conversei com umas crianças do Timor. O português delas era muito claro. Eu entendi muito bem.
Porque as crianças desde eles falam
Ah, desde a independência, Indonésia, complicado. Complicado. Vamos ser políticos aqui, mas ainda é complicado. Mas depois da independência, em 2002, eles começaram a ter aulas de português na escola. Então, geração mais jovem falam português. And during this process, 1999, 2002 and forward, they need foreign troops to guarantee peace here and to train the new military and the new police. There were Australian troops, New Zealand troops, and Brazilian troops. There was a police officer from Brazil here, and he went for holidays in Bali, Indonesia, and there was a terrorist attack in Bali. Killed a lot of foreigners and killed that Brazilian guy. He was in the danger place, nothing happened, went to party in Bali and died, tragically. And this is a Microlet, the little buses that run all over here in East Timor. I'm gonna leave the routes here in the description, a link to it. Here in Dili, definitely take one of the Microlets, which is these little buses. 25 cents of a dollar, and you can go everywhere. And I'm gonna leave in the description a link to all the routes they have here in Dili, so you can plan your trip. Very fun. So we are here right in front of the police command here in East Timor. It's like the main headquarters of the national police here in East Timor. And Jonas, he's from Germany. He's a police officer in Germany.
Mr. Bonifacio Pereira.
Mr. Bonifacio Pereira from the Timorese police. And Jonas, he travels all over the world. And what he does is pretty cool, actually. He brings a patch from the German police, and then he exchanges. He goes to different police stations all over the world. He talks with the police officers from these places. And you know, like they get together, police officer to police officer, you get like a connection, you're absolutely connected because you're in the same business, you know how dangerous it is and everything. And then they exchange patches all over. That's really, really nice way of more authentic traveling and meeting people from the place and police officers, which is a very important profession. The basis of society is police enforcement, so it doesn't become an anarchy completely. It's very interesting and pretty cool. And I got to meet Jonas, and I just learned something new today. So we're walking here towards the Cristo, one of the main attractions here in Timor-Leste. We're gonna show you guys. But just interesting, that's Timon, one of their national languages, the main spoken here together with Portuguese. Jesus is nailed to the cross. Jesus de Pacu de Caiu Salib. Very different, but sometimes they mix Portuguese with the Timon and then like a Creole kind of language. And this is Cristo, our destination. So you have some stairs to go. But definitely should be your stop here in Timor. Timor-Leste, Dili, and then a big coastal walk away here, and then they're building a road that way. Top of the Christ, and you have a very good view of Atauro Island, which amazing diving, definitely a attraction here in Timor-Leste, one of the main attractions. And Dili, and everything else is right there. Okay, I'm not gonna add it, I was wrong. This is Indonesia. This is not Atauro. Atauro is that way. That's the super duper attraction here. Atauro in East Timor. One of the best dives on the planet. As you can see, it's an amazing place for sunset. But today we have a little bit of clouds. But you can come here other days. Sunset and sunrise. Sunrise obviously would be on the other side.
Oh no, mosquitoes.
Eu tava falando aqui com o Léo. Léo fala bem português.
Sim. Léo Messi.
Léo Messi, é.
Não.
O Léo Messi é argentino, mas tudo bem.
Sou amigo brasileiro, não sou amigo.
Sim, todos da mesma comunidade, irmãos e irmãs da língua portuguesa. Pessoal, aqui ó, todo mundo exercitando aqui no topo do Cristo Rei.
Camisa de Real Madrid, do Rodrigo.
Ah, é verdade. Ah, meu nome é Rodrigo. Cristo ali em cima e essa daqui é a parada intermediária. E é bacana, final do dia, todo mundo fazendo exercício. Legalzinho, eles são bem cristãos aqui, assim como Timor do Oeste. Porque tirando Bali é budista, achei que o resto inteiro da Indonésia era muçulmano. Aliás, é o maior país muçulmano do mundo em população. E a ilha de Timor é bem cristão, bem cristão. Muita igreja, muita cruz, 3 cruzes assim, num monte de lugar. E tem muita oferenda. A little bit of a Christian song here. They're very religious. So just a tip for you all, if you're coming here as a tourist and want to rent a scooter. This place here I found online, actually someone from the hostel told me, SOT. They are actually a distillery and they produce chocolate. Something I just learned, Timor-Leste, besides coffee, they produce a lot of cocoa and so they can produce chocolate. So this place is pretty cool, very cheap, like I got for one day scooter, $10 something, the best deal I found. And they pick you up and drop you off at your accommodation. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Perfect, I'm not getting any money, any bonus for this, it's just because it's a good deal. Bonus information, so I'm gonna leave it for you all. So pretty cool, they invited me here to see the chocolate production. They have quite a few different flavors, rum, cappuccino, crunchy peanut. They're telling me like it's very fair trade. They're really concerned about sustainability and the working conditions for the farmers, and they can process like a ton of chocolate here. Never been so much to the whole production. And again, it's very artisanal, very cool. I'm going to Baucau, the second largest city by scooter, and you can see the amazing view they have up here. I just left Dili, beautiful. Another beautiful beach, no one, just some fishermen, no tourists at all. This is an abandoned resort here in East Timor. Incredible, the water is amazing. Apparently it was a pretty cool place, but it's abandoned. Manatutu is like a kind of big town in between Dili and Baucau. Oh my god, goats on top of the bus. So it's a good place to have a stop if you need to eat something. It's almost 3 hours, right, traveling. Búfalo! Tudo tranquilo? Vocês estão vindo da escola?
Ah, escola.
Sim. Falam português? Não. English? Português melhor. Sou do Brasil.
Ah, Brasil. Ah, gosto de você.
É. Isso aqui é búfalo. E qual é o seu nome?
Ah,
What's your name?
Tolin.
Tolin. Prazer, Rodrigo.
Rodrigo.
Olha que fantástico esse arrozal. So we arrived here in Baucau, the village town of Baucau. Almost 3 hours in this little scooter, not that easy. I know some people drive all the way from northern Canada to Ushuaia, southern Argentina, but and here the view of Baucau, part of it, and then the coast right there. So yeah, Baucau is poor place compared to Dili and especially compared to the rest of Southeast Asia. Bonitinho, tipo praça com centro de convenções aqui em Baucau. Look at these rice fields. Okay, is that a sort of buffalo or is that just a very dirty cow? They look cows, but they're all like gray like that. And their horns are slightly weird. Again, I don't really know if they're buffaloes or cows. They're on the water, almost submerged. I don't know. I decided to stop here in Manatutu, and I thought there would be like a coast, a beach, nice, but no, it's all rocky. Also not much. There was a very nice beach back there that I showed you, but a lot of the coast, to be honest, are like rocky a little bit. Some gorgeous beaches here and there, but it's like a lot of rockies. Because it's a volcanic island, actually. And that island right in front of us, it's Indonesia again. What that island? Because just this little part is East Timor. East Timor almost essentially surrounded by Indonesia and obviously Australia on the south. Pretty cool playing football. Peace and reconciliation. That's Xanana Guzmão. Was the president, prime minister, and one of the leaders of the resistance, the independence movement, and other leaders. And now asking for peace and reconciliation, including with Indonesia, right? Small little fishing boat there. Nice view from the top here. As you can see whales here during season, November more or less. Blue whales pass by here. Pretty cool. Warship here, out of the water, doing maintenance, I guess. Honestly, I guess it's Timorese or some country donated their old warship to Timor. I don't know, by the conditions, I don't know if this warship will ever gonna see action again. I don't understand anything about naval engineering, but seems a bit tired, let's say. So this is a $1 beach. I don't think it was abandoned. I think they were building it. They couldn't finish anymore, I don't know. The company went bankrupt. If it was abandoned, you would see houses and everything. It's most like it's unfinished. Maybe they're still working on it. Ministry of Tourism, Commerce and Industry. As it became something private and no one can go. Or maybe can go from the village over there and then get inside here. That was the most beautiful beach I've seen. Driving from Dili to Baucau. The idea was to stop people here. Yeah, I wouldn't. My head goes. Yeah, that's tight. I can't go through. My head can, but then I get stuck. And I also a lot of people passing by. I don't want to get arrested in Timor-Leste because I'm leaving after tomorrow. Seriously, I'm obsessed with this potential resort, let's say. I hope they develop this area. People have to use it. People have to enjoy it. It's really, really pretty. And I know, oh no, develop a nature and everything, but without infrastructure, very few people are going to come here. And it's going to help the country, hopefully, right? Bring people with money, they invest in the country. That's the whole point. De defesa do Timor-Leste, tem a bandeira de Portugal, Austrália e Nova Zelândia, porque eles ajudam no treinamento. Investimento chinês numa escola aqui. Eu vi bastante investimento chinês por aqui. I found a little attraction, I would say like 40 minutes from Dili. Dili is around over there. Yeah, it's kind of a little beach. And there's like a cross there, you can do baby hike. And then as always there's some European Union Mercy Corps, which I think is American. As always, like European Union has like a little baby flag, almost like ashamed of showing that they contribute for something here. I don't know if it was just the signs, but and there's some locals here, so it's a cool place to go. There's people running on the beach over there, some fishermen. Nice place. I'm gonna put it here, how many minutes from Dili. I think I'm gonna try this estrajos. Apparently it's a kind of a Viagra, you know. It looks really good with ice and everything. Really hope I'm not gonna get sick. Should I risk? I will. No, seriously, I had food poisoning a few times. I'm really afraid of having it because it messed up your trip completely. One of the first times that I was backpacking, I was in Guatemala. Arrived in the hostel, went to the bathroom. There were two girls from UK, literally like hugging the toilet. They've been there like for a few days, throwing up and shitting themselves non-stop. And then I got traumatized. I said, shit, like I don't want to travel and then be sick like that. But funny enough, the two places the last time that I got food poisoning was in Brazil, where I'm from. Let's hope today. That looks really good. Thank you so much. Muito obrigado. Well, pretty cool. Heineken has a brewery here. I wonder if they have enough demand to have a full brewery here. Maybe they export to the Timor, like in Indonesia, or the Indonesian in general. We are back here in Dili, Cristo, hey, right over there. Show to you all, downtown and everything, beautiful sunset. And here, right on top here, where I am right now, this kind of circle thing is an old Japanese bunker from the Second World War. We're gonna explore together. I'm gonna tell you what's going on here. So, you know, Imperial Japan came down from Manchuria, invaded Manchuria in China, invaded a bunch of South Pacific islands, Malaysia, Singapore and everything. Their objective was essentially eventually go to Australia and invade Australia. They bombed Darwin, which is 1 hour from here. And they did, sorry, because it's hard with one hand here. So they did invade Timor. Half was Dutch, half was Portuguese. It's a colony, right? You know, the Netherlands colonized Indonesia. So but for the Japanese, one single island is like Timor Island. So there was the Battle of Timor. And here we are. The Battle of Timor, they invaded. They took 3 days to take most of the island, even if there were some Dutch, British and Australian troops here. But then there were some Australian commandos went into the jungle and they started fighting the Japanese through guerrilla war, unconventional warfare, an asymmetric warfare. And they took a long time for the Japanese eventually stabilize the island. So the Australians did a good job holding up almost a whole division of the Imperial Japanese troops here. And the Japanese, obviously, you know, the Americans did the island hopping after Pearl Harbor and everything. They did the Pacific War, and they were dislocating, defeating the Japanese in every single island, almost every single Pacific island, all the way to Tokyo. That was the objective. So Solomon Islands, the Battle of Guadalcanal, the Battle of Tarawa and Kiribati was in both those two islands, full of Japanese bunkers and everything. Very interesting. I have articles about that. I can put in the description, the link. And but here, the Americans never arrived here. Neither the Australians from the south. So here there was never reconquered by the Allies. Essentially, what happened? Let me go here. The Japanese lost the war. The United States used the nuclear weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They won the war. The Japanese surrendered, and then the Japanese just surrendered the garrison that was here in Timor. So there was the battle to conquer Timor by the Japanese, but there was no battle to free up Timor from the Japanese. And now this was the old bunker from the Japanese. And also 30 minutes from Baucau, there are some caves, the 7 caves they call. I was supposed to go today, I didn't have a chance. The road was really bad. They were under construction, was taking way too long. And I didn't want to arrive in Dili during the night because people drive like crazy here. All these motorcycles, like too crazy. Anyway, so I didn't go to those caves. I have some pictures I'm gonna put here for you guys. Those caves were Japanese caves that they also wanted used for the defense of the island in case the Americans or the Brits or the Australians would come here. Would be probably the Australians or the Americans would come here to liberate the island. But they were never used, they didn't use. But interesting enough, the resistance, the Timorese resistance against Indonesia used some of those caves to hide the fighters from the Indonesian troops. So very interesting history. I was in Palau as well, in the island of Pelileu. Probably heard about the Battle of Pelileu. Insane battle. It's even like in the War in the Pacific, like the kind of Band of Brothers, the TV series from Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. They show the Battle of Pelileu. There you can still see the caves, the caves that the Japanese were hiding, and their fierce battles. The Japanese wouldn't surrender. The Americans would have, and it was so dangerous to go into the caves, the Americans would seal one side of the cave and just blast fire inside of the cave and then seal both sides. And then that's it. So even today, I have a bunch of bodies, of the rest of the bodies of Japanese soldiers there that they didn't want to still the cave explode everything, and we're not gonna get inside those caves because it's brutal. So yeah, you can learn a lot about that going to Pilileu, which is one of the islands of Palau. Amazing. Actually, if you like Second World War history, Pacific War history, you should travel around if you had the chance, offer the privilege, opportunity, travel around the Pacific Islands. It's so much history. And there is still a lot of places that I want to go. Marshall Islands, Federal States of Micronesia, Nauru, all those places they have bunkers, old fortifications from the Japanese and signs of the battle. Very interesting. So that's it. Japanese bunker here. And actually I ask, because it's kind of like on the backyard of this house here, so I nicely asked the gentleman over there if I could climb here and at his backyard and look at the bunker. He was really, really nice. He's right over there. Então, finalmente encontrei dois jovens aqui que falam português. Qual o nome de vocês?
Meu nome é Carol Miguel Augusto Silva.
Carlo?
Carol.
Carol.
Sim.
Muito prazer, Rodrigo.
Eu Gustavo Ivone Freitas.
Gustavo?
Ivone Freitas.
Ivone Freitas. Eu tava vendo aqui pôr do sol maravilhoso, Cristo Rei ali iluminado. Aí eles puxaram conversa comigo, depois, pô, sou Brasil, não sei o que, fala português. Eles têm português na escola. Os professores são daqui ou são do Portugal? Os professores são daqui mesmo, do Timor-Leste. Prazer, tudo de bom. I see this lotaria in a bunch of places here in East Timor. Like I saw in Baucau as well, which was super poor and everything, and then one house like that. And essentially it's like a gambling, but it's private. I'm sure it's not from the government, but it's like fucked up, right? Like they choose whoever chose this thing, one of the poorest countries in the world, to make people addict to gambling. Since the house always win, people are gonna lose, and some of the poorest people on the planet. Vietnamese fried noodles with chicken here in East Timor. Great. Remember the chocolate place I visited today? That's literally where I rented my scooter. That's their chocolate. $2.90. Strong price, let's say. But it's a very seasonal, high quality chocolate.